Hello and welcome to the Mind Over Madness podcast, as always, with myself and Sean.
Hello there.
Uh, quick apology. Sorry there wasn't one last week. That's on me. I had a very bad night's sleep and I wasn't awake, so it didn't happen. And I didn't want to do it while I was half asleep, going, "What are we talking about?" So yeah, that's the
What have
reason.
we done today?
What have we done? But yes, how you doing, Sean? How's things?
Yes, very well. It's
How's
just been business as usual, which is probably the term we'll be using a lot
yeah.
over this period. But yeah, it's just been, same old, same old. Just, trying to find that light at the end of the tunnel, which is it's getting further and further away, but
It's
it's all right.
it's getting more tricky to see that light. I'm not gonna lie, but it's
Mm.
there somewhere, hidden
There's
amongst.
hope somewhere in the galaxy.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's what we tell ourselves.
how are you doing?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm yeah, no. I think it's the same thing. Just kind of plodding along as we do, trying to find our way through this clusterfuck of a year. I mean, we're coming up to the end of it now, so
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe 2021 will be better.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be. We'll talk about that year in the next podcast. That's fine. But yeah, everything's been all right. It's been okay. Kind of. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff to dive into and break apart and talk. So
Have you?
without further ado, let's jump into it. For those of you who aren't used to our little podcast, we have a little routine. We go with news first and kind of go through their topics, and then we go into gaming, and then movies and Netflix and everything, and then we have our random things at the end. Um, just for random little things that we come up with just off the cuff if we haven't thought of them before, which is pretty much every time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, without that further ado, we'll get into some news. So, do you want to start or?
Yeah, so obviously the big one is the Pfizer vaccine has been approved in the UK, one of the first places to approve it,
Yes.
which is hopeful. Like we're probably one of the first places with a working vaccine
I
so
think
far.
America recently, didn't
Oh
they
yeah,
just order in like a shit ton of
yeah, they
it?
like literally just approved it in last week, but I think we approved it like
Yeah.
2 weeks
Oh,
ago.
yeah, no. We were the guinea pigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Perfect. It works beautifully.
Yes.
Um, So yeah, that's been rolled out, and 180,000 people as of last week. I don't know the up-to-date statistics, but they've been vaccinated so far.
Ooh.
With the first jab, you'd obviously need two jabs,
Yeah,
3 weeks apart,
The booster in the next month.
for it to be fully working. Which I don't think a lot of people realize. I think it's just one and done. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, oh well.
Oh, well, better than nothing.
It's yeah, that's good news. That's a bit of hope. That's we'll start off on a positive.
I mean, finally, I think people have kind of wished that we could have some form of positivity come out, and I think having that vaccine, it's
Yeah,
it's it's hope, like you said.
it's an absolute marvel of science that they managed to get one this quickly.
Oh, I know. It's insanity, but I applaud the scientists for doing that, man. That's never been done before. Never has a
Yeah,
vaccine been made so quickly and had such a fast approval.
yeah,
Um,
and it's such a good quality one. So apparently it says.
yeah. Well,
Well, I mean, we'll find out with the guinea pigs. That have been,
Yeah. Well, 95%. There was obviously the two people that did have an allergic reaction.
yeah,
But if you actually look at statistics and stuff for like vaccines, yeah, listen up, you anti-vaccine bellends. Um, Most vaccines, when they first come out, tend to have that kind of thing. Like, there's always one or two people who will have an allergic reaction. It's never normally super serious. It's kind of just something that comes with the territory. And another thing as well is that this vaccine was pushed out very, very quickly, yes, but they still went through every single test you can imagine. It's just the few little like bits. Oh, if you're allergic to peanuts, you might have a reaction to this, that kind of thing. They needed the vaccine as quick as possible,
yeah,
while being as safe as possible. So like little, if it basically put it this way, if they didn't test it on something, it's because it wasn't life threatening. If you did have a
yeah.
reaction, that's why.
And in this day and age, everyone's so wrapped in cotton wool that you've got an allergic to fucking clothes or oxygen or something. So
Latex.
there's always going to be someone.
Fucking latex.
There's always going to be someone. Yeah, you'll probably have a little latex reaction. Right.
Yeah. Weird, but true.
But yeah.
But yeah, definitely a massive shine of hope, especially around Christmas. That's what makes it better.
Christmas tax.
Really
So obviously they're rolling it out in stages. They've only got a certain amount for now. It's like the beginning phases. I think they're starting with a lot of care workers, which is, no one would ever have any complaints about that.
Absolutely.
And also kind of old, very vulnerable people in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, which is quite good. I've seen a few of them on TV. William Shakespeare.
Yeah, I can't believe that. The second guy in the country to get it was called William Shakespeare. What are the chances?
But yeah, it's hopeful. I mean, a lot of them are old, vulnerable people have been saying, "Oh, I wish my daughter or son had this instead of me. I've had a beautiful life." It's like
morbid, but
okay.
sure.
I suppose there is like a process to these things. You've got to shield the vulnerable, and
well,
whatever people think about it, and it's got to be done.
I think the way, if we look at it, is that if the vulnerable get vaccinated first, then most of the people that have passed away from it are in the vulnerable category. So the more vulnerable people get vaccinated, the more life can more risks, I guess, can be taken in regards to freedom and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be as much at risk because they've had the vaccine.
Yeah, so, and then they get normal flu, and then
then they get normal flu and die from it anyway. So it's not yeah. But that's another story.
Potato.
Potato. Oh, it's an early start. But,
So they're saying that the majority of vulnerable people will be vaccinated, and like some of the population will be vaccinated by next spring. So that's a date to look forward to.
Definitely.
And obviously Boris has been on. It's been all about Christmas. Oh, get together, don't get together.
We'll get
travel,
into that.
See your family over 5 days.
There's a lot of stuff that's come out about that. A lot of stuff has changed around that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, good thing to start off with. Pfizer kicked some ass. They got the fucking vaccine out. All I can say is, anti-vaxxers, fuck off. Just go and get sneezed on. Like, if you're that confident, feel free. I think, actually, that's something I'll ask you. Kind of, what's your view on anti-vaxxers? Because obviously, this vaccine has caused an immense amount of people to be very, very cautious with it. And I guess to a certain extent, understandably so. Again, the quickest vaccine to ever be made. They managed to get it approved and through, so people are obviously thinking they've skipped some safety stuff. And then obviously the two people having an allergic reaction, people are like, see, they're trying to chip us. Which, by the way, is fucking ridiculous. If you think if you are that narcissistic that you think the government is trying to put a chip in yourself, check yourself. Like, that is narcissism above narcissism. The government want to spy on me. Why? You're not important. So, sorry to break the news, Like, that, I don't know, it sent my mind into a spiral that people are just so outlandish with it. I don't know what your thought was on it.
Well, it's one of those things. Everyone has a right to decide what goes into their body, of course.
Absolutely.
But it's unfortunate that it can come at the cost of some people's lives and stuff. So they've got to kind of work out this. Yes, there is the scare that it's been really rapidly created, this vaccine. But it takes the whole community to take it for it to be effective. If they've made it, you've got to take it for it to be effective. And it's not the government that has made it; it's the scientists, top scientists, which are way beyond our comprehension. And
Michael Grove hasn't been anywhere near it. Boris hasn't touched it.
John Cummings, no.
Yeah, no, none of them.
They are celebrating Christmas with 50,000 family members.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd be having a gangbang in a parking lot somewhere, in public, sneezing on everyone.
Bernard Castle.
Yeah. But also, another thing that I want to throw out there, the reason that this vaccine was created so quickly is, one, everyone in the world was funding for it because it was an emergency. Two, the vaccine started getting worked on in January. Because of what happened in December with Wuhan, there were already talks of a vaccine being started and processed in January, and it got ramped up in March. So it was unprecedented amounts of time and effort that went into this. Everything else has been put on hold, as unfortunate as that is, you know, cancer treatments, things like that. As horrifying as that is that they've had to be put on hold, that is the reason this was created so quickly. I think a lot of people who are anti-vaxxers are ignorant, which, you know, ignorance can be, you know, you can be educated for it. If you learned more about it, if you looked it up and learned all this stuff, I'm sure 99% of people that are anti-vaxxers would sort of switch, you know. But it's just that 1% I cannot get my head around. Like, they're trying to put chips in me. I just go to a fish and chip shop if you want chips that badly.
Conspiracy theory Karens.
Yeah, conspiracy theory Karens. That is from now on the statement. I don't know. It's so outlandish that it just boggles the mind.
There'll always be some that are like that, and yeah, I mean, they're saying that some people are. Well, imagine how scared you are of getting the virus, and now times it by 100. That's how scared we are of taking the vaccine.
Yeah, it's like, well, okay. But that completely different things.
The vaccine isn't going to kill you.
Yeah, can I just state your point, anti-vaxxer? You know, the virus possibly could kill you. The things you believe about vaccines, complete bullshit. Very real, fake. I mean, you know, it doesn't. One is clearly more realistic than the other.
Absolutely.
But let me make this clear as well. I'm not saying that all vaccines won't cause you to get a cold or a flu or something from taking it. That's just unrealistic. It's very well like educated knowledge that vaccines do give you a form of what you are trying to fight. I believe in the Pfizer vaccine, it's actually a dead virus, but still, you can still get headaches from it and you know, sickness and stuff. That's completely normal. You know, you're not gonna be fucking logged and chipped. I can't get over it. It's just incredible. But yeah. The less
takes all sorts, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does indeed. Oh wow.
So yeah. Before we get on to all the fucking COVID restrictions and stuff, I suppose we'll talk about something a little bit different.
Go on.
Likelihood of a no-deal Brexit.
Oh, this is still talking. Yeah, this is still going on.
Yeah, so apparently, like, the deadline was last Sunday, but you know that's kind of gone into the mist now, and
we're not going to have a deal.
I know.
Like, it's. From what I've seen, they're still harping on about the fishing ports and stuff like that. That seems to be where the main tension is. And I get it, you know, freedom and stuff like that. But something that boggled me was, I don't know the dates and stuff, but a couple of weeks back, the House of Lords of Parliament, whatever, they actually voted through that bill that allows Boris to break international law if he wants to. They actually voted that through as a yes.
Yeah.
I don't get it, man. Like, what? Like,
yeah.
I understand that Brexit, the entire point of Brexit, I get it, right, is to have our freedoms. It's to have our independence. It's to be able to make our own laws and stuff like that. But, like, he keeps touting it as, we're going to have the same deal as Australia. They don't have a deal.
Yeah.
You fucking half-wit. So, I think people are hearing that being like, oh, okay, if we'll just go with the Australia deal. They don't have a fucking deal. Look it up. It takes one Google search. They don't have a deal with the EU. And do you know what they struggle with? Money. Like, it's... I just can't understand how they're not coming to an agreement on it. I think that's what boggles me more, is that... Is it really just this one thing that is causing so much tension that they're just like, nah, fuck you, we're not making a deal with you then?
Yeah, I mean, surely they can work something out, but yeah, a lot of people that have voted for Brexit are just going to be like, well, you know, we want our independence. We don't want to give them any more money. Why should we have a deal with them?
Yeah.
We can produce our own things.
I mean,
But yeah,
you're not wrong, but then, have they looked at how much we import?
yeah,
That our export is not that big anymore. Steel is not that big in the UK anymore. I mean, it's still substantial. We still make a ton of money from it, but it's nowhere near, let's say, 50 years ago what we were making.
it's going to bring like capital up, and everything's going to get more expensive.
Yeah. I mean, Australian dollars is the perfect example of that. I think a base game. Put it this way: a base game in the UK is about £60. Let's not worry about the 70 for now. But in Australia, in Australian money, that's around about 160 to 170. That's the kind of inflation we're looking at if we go with an Australian deal.
Yeah,
It's a bit silly, and I think Boris is being very naive with it.
yeah.
And I think he's trying to convince people, oh no, I know what I'm doing, it's fine, we'll just go with this kind of deal. And it's like, I don't think you're being honest.
Have you seen that video of like Ursula, head of EU, something? And she's like, you have to take a step back, you have to put your mask back on. No, it's like, oh, you run a tight operation here, as if he's like not bothered about the rules.
Yeah, why is no
quite
one
rightly
talking
so.
about this? Why, like, he has been in isolation twice.
Yeah.
And he goes into meetings, takes his fucking mask off, stands next to her and goes, would you like a hug? Would you
Yeah.
fuck off? Boris, even if there wasn't a fucking pandemic, I don't want you touching me. I'm all right. Like, it's just fucking ridiculous. Like, he's acting as if this virus... Like, he keeps talking about the numbers. The numbers are going down. No, they're not. No, they're not.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into. But to stay on topic, yeah, I mean... I don't know. What's your kind of take on it? Do you think because they're not going to extend it? They've already said once the 1st of January comes around, that is it. If there is no deal, it's a no deal Brexit. So
I think it's not ideal, but I mean, there's going to have to come to some kind of agreements, aren't they? Like, even if there is a no deal, there's going to be agreements behind the
After
scenes
it,
for
yeah.
trade.
Well, they'll have to. If there's a no deal, it just basically means we're fucked for like a good year or two, because we're going to have to set everything up.
Things that the next prime minister will have to work it.
Well, Biden has made it very clear as well that he doesn't agree with Brexit. So he said that if we can't make it, I think he said something like, I don't know the actual words, but if we don't have a deal with the EU, his trading with us is going to be hit substantially because he doesn't agree with what we're doing and the no deal thing. So I don't know if that means we'll suffer or anything. I imagine it will be. Listen to me. We'll suffer. It's going to be a dictatorship. No, I don't know. It's such a...
I don't think Biden could dictate what he wants to for breakfast.
No, bless the man. He seems like a wonderful chap, but he can barely string a sentence together.
Just presidential material there.
That's America. Yeah.
Either that or Trump.
Oh, at least they didn't vote Trump back in, I'll say that much. Jesus. They're clearly smarter than us, because when we had a second chance to get rid of Brexit, we fucking doubled down on it. Like, hey, you know that thing that we've now complained about? Now, fuck it, let's vote it in again.
Yeah.
Well done, UK. Well done.
Take our country back.
Oh, it's fucking dumbasses.
Yeah.
We, as the UK, have to admit that we are now dumber than America.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they still have gun laws. Oh, sorry. They don't have gun laws. So, yeah, I don't know. It's
Well, they've got enough ammunition in this virus that they're not bothered about it. So.
Oh, they'll just shoot it.
COVID can't get into my home if I hold a shotgun to it.
You want to keep that social distancing, or you'll be wearing
Now
buckshot.
come and hug me, mama.
We're joking. Sort of. Right. But yeah, no, I mean, as for the EU and the trade deal and stuff, nothing's going to happen. It'll be a no deal. I think Boris is too stubborn to change his mind, and the EU are not going to clearly put themselves in a position where they're losing out on something.
Yeah.
So-
Well, the EU have bias in the fact that they don't want us to leave anyway, and then we want our independence, so it's not going to be. It's going to be a clash of interests.
I think everyone wants their independence just from Boris. Like, they're all fucking sick of him. I don't envy you for living in...
Well, I mean, it doesn't really affect us, really. He's still the Prime Minister of the whole UK as well.
Yeah, I mean, he has the final say on shit.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, your devolved administrations have some powers, but he can ultimately overrule it, I think.
yeah. But right, let's get on to some other news. Boris has announced that England might have a third tier lockdown after Christmas and into the new year. And when he says might, let's be realistic here, there will be another one. There will be. I think everywhere is going to have another one. I don't think that's avoidable at any point, you know.
Yeah, I think Wales have already announced that there's going to be a lockdown on the 28th or something.
Well, we are in alert level 4, which is one from the top alert level. Essentially, it was announced by Mark Drakeford 2 days ago in a live stream that when he did his announcement to Wales, it was something along the lines of the rules have changed. We are no longer allowed to mix with 3 households. It is now 2.
Yeah,
and he kept saying, oh, it's just advisable. It isn't. If you mix with more than 2 households, you're a dumbass. Just follow the rules.
Yeah.
Please.
The problem is the rules are different everywhere.
Because this is the thing. Like, I get they wanted to allow people to have a Christmas because this year has been shit. And Christmas is that time of year where it's like, oh, you can have that joy, that day of relief. But here's the thing. If you want a normal Christmas, you have to live with the consequences of that. So if you want to go and spend time with all of your family, fine. But if your nan catches COVID and dies of it, that's your fault. Not the government's, not the NHS, yours. You are the one that made the choice to take that risk. So cool, if you want to do that, I think what the government should say is, okay, here's your thing. If you want to have an entire Christmas thing, if you want to go out for meals and stuff, okay, cool. But if COVID spikes up so much that multiple hundreds of people die every day, that's on you, not us. We've told you what to do.
That's essentially what they're doing, isn't it? It's
we're
not going to criminalise anyone for having plans.
Yeah, and I think when I was watching the announcement that he made, what I didn't get was why didn't he just turn and go, look, we're not a dictatorship. We're not going to enforce these rules because that would be dictatoring. Like, we're not a dictatorship. It's a democracy. We will advise you on what you should do, and you can make the choices. So if something happens and you fucking blame us, it ain't our fault. You're the arseholes that made that choice. And obviously no politician's going to say that. They call their arsehole enemies right honourable gentlemen. But it's just so fucking stupid that, like, three times in a row, Mark Drakeford was asked, so is it only 2 households now, or is it still 3? 3 times in a row, and he was like, for fuck's sake, how many times do I have to tell you, idiots? 2! Fucking 2! Why what do you want me to do? You want me to write it on a chalkboard and send it to your grandmother? 2!
Yeah.
It's so infuriating that the press are, like, trying to find a little fucking loophole. Just fucking accept it.
Yeah, it's like, it's not what you can do within the rules, it's what you should do.
Exactly. And the thing is, people go, oh, well, if we should only do that, then surely we're fine to do it. It's like, yeah, and how many other families are thinking that? I won't name the person, but I have a person in my family who clearly just doesn't want to give a shit about the rules. And I appreciate that because people want to be able to have a Christmas. They want to be with their family. I empathise with that. And trust me, I have a granddad with dementia who can barely remember my face. I would love to spend that day with him. Is it worth me risking his life, though? No. It's just not worth it. I can Skype him. I can call him on the phone and be like, hey, but happy Christmas. But, who's this? But, it's I cannot understand, like,
especially when we're so close to the finish line as well.
Exactly, like, the vaccine has just started being put out there. This is Wales went from having the lowest number of cases to now shooting up to the highest because for some reason people just went, oh, vaccine's out, we're cured. It's like, no, that's not how it works. I have to fucking sit here living in Wales being like, I wish Welsh people were smart, but we're not. We're fucking stupid.
Well, you had that firebreak lockdown and then we had a full lockdown for a month and then that helped keep it at bay for a while, but then it shoots up again.
Like, this is something people keep bringing up as well. It's like, did the firebreak not work? You realise that was over a month and a half ago, you half-wit. And yes, it worked, but when we came out of it, people didn't listen to the advice. They just kept not listening to it. And now we're in, alert level 4. I think from the 24th, all non-essential retail has to shut again. You are now being encouraged to work from home again. It's basically like being in March, but
Yeah, it's
just
the vicious cycle every time. Like
yeah,
when we're in lockdown, the numbers go down. When we're not in lockdown, they go up because people are allowed to do what they want.
yeah.
But
And
you say that thing about dictatorship earlier, then like it's quite a draconian move to lock everything down. That is almost
yeah,
dictatorship. Like,
it is. But I've got to be honest. I kind of don't see another way the government can deal with it without letting the virus just kill hundreds of people.
yeah,
I think it's that difficult balance. They're trying not to be like, hey, you know what? We've had enough of your bullshit back and forth now. If you don't fucking stick to these rules, you'll go into jail. There's your fucking option. Because then that immediately people will be like, oh, fucking hell, we're living in China. And people don't want that. They want to be told, oh no, it's up to you what you do. But then when they get told it's up to you what you do, people then bitch and complain they don't know what to do. And it's like, you can't have it both ways. You either need to accept the fact that you're going to have to be run like a dictatorship until this virus is dealt with, or shut the fuck up, have the advisable stuff, and listen to it. You can't expect the government to be like, hey, here's a set of rules, feel free to call us dictators because that's what you're going to do, and we understand that you don't like us, but hey, we'll take the shit for it so not many people die.
yeah.
But I think it's also that thing of the law enforcement can't enforce like hundreds of thousands of people with these rules. It's just not realistic. They have enough pressure on them as it is.
It's like human nature as well. At the end of the day, like we need to be told what to do, and we need to realize the punishment if we do something wrong.
I mean,
like,
think about it.
That's why there are rewards for posters of missing people. Like people need money to give information, and that's why
It's
like when the death penalty was around, like crime was way down because people realized there was consequences to your action.
People won't like this, but I think they should bring that back.
Yeah,
I've never hit
maybe we
that.
can talk about that in our interesting sections.
Yes, we'll talk about that later.
I
But,
mean, I
yeah.
believe we may have.
I mean, I on the point that you just said, you know, it's like literally this thing, isn't it? There's a sign, wet paint.
Yeah, don't press a button.
Yeah, that's wet paint. That's just how people are. They have to fucking look at it and be like, oh, so if I don't listen to the advice, people die. Oh, I get it now.
And that's why, like, when the government gives advice, no one listens to it because there's no criminalization of it.
Yeah.
And when we're in lockdown, they kind of do listen because nowhere is open anyway.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, fine, I'll stay in my house, but I don't agree with it. It's like, well, you fucking caused it. It's just, it's like people don't.
There needs to be some kind of order for anything to work, basically.
Yeah. Do you know what I think the government need to do? And people won't like this, but they need to go right until this vaccine has been sent out to enough people and enough people are vaccinated. Here's your fucking rules. You either stick to them or you get fined. If you don't like it, fuck off. Live somewhere else. You know, I think they can't keep. I do agree with people that the back and forth constantly just doesn't work. You know, they keep going, oh, well, we messed up 3 months ago. But then 3 months ago at the time, they were like, no, we're doing everything that we can. You know, they're very contradictory. So I understand why people are pissed off. But then I get why they're so contradictory because they can't constantly keep enforcing rules that just aren't lawful.
Yeah.
So
I think they kind of did well. Well, if they'd have done it earlier, they did well with the first lockdown because like when they opened things back up again, they did it very gradually. Like, you know, some areas going to open now, you know. And then if like the numbers went up again, they kind of removed some restrictions or like put more back in so that it's like it was a very slow process.
what I don't get is what was it? Oh God, I've forgotten what I was going to say. It was there and then it fucked off. It'll come back to me.
But yeah, and then it seems like with these recent lockdowns, it's like, right, we'll lock everything up. But then as soon as it's over, bang, everything's open again. Where you go mad.
See, the thing is, that's what I was going to say. When they opened everything back up, yes, it was gradual. But do you realise that the mask mandatory thing wasn't put in for months?
I know. Yeah.
Why? Every other country was like, hey, we'll open everything back up, but you've got to wear a mask. Why? Because we don't want to spread the virus, you fucking moron. Wear a mask. In the UK, it was like, oh, they're not mandatory, they don't help. Wait, they are mandatory, they do help. Nah, it's fine. No, they are. No, they aren't. Yes, they are. It was so back and forth. It was like, just say they are so we can live our lives a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like it would have been a lot better if they'd done that sooner, which is just, the mantra for everything. If they'd have done it all sooner, then it would have been, fine. Well, not fine, but,
Yeah.
better.
And what amazes me is the fact you'd think they would have learnt from the first fucking time they didn't do it quick enough. And yet again, England, Wales, I'm not going to leave Wales out. Wales were just as bad. They had the firebreak lockdown. It wasn't long enough and it wasn't strict enough. Simple as. And then England were behind. Obviously, Boris was behind by nearly a month. From when he was told, you need to lock the country down. And he was like, but the economy, your economy's fucked anyway.
Yeah.
Just lock it down. And he's like, oh, well, we wanted to save jobs. That went well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Your employment is so high now that not even Universal Credit can afford to pay for everyone that's on it now.
Yeah.
Well done, Boris.
But it's that fucking balance between shutting things and people's health and people's welfare and actually getting the numbers down. It's like, it's a difficult. No one's underestimating the difficult task it is.
Oh,
but,
absolutely, yeah.
Just needs to be better minds behind it.
Yeah, I would not sit here and be like they've done a. That anyone else could have done a better job. Absolutely not. Keir Starmer can rip Boris apart all he wants. He would have still fucked it up royally.
Yeah.
No one was prepared for this.
If he went too far in the other direction and locked everyone down, people would be and just
he would have if Boris had locked everyone down, he would have been booted out from being prime minister because his entire party would have been like, "You're now being a Labour person."
It is a shame that it's all about politics as well.
This is what fucks me off as well. It's at the beginning they were like, "This is not about politics. This is about saving lives." And within a week, you just don't want to support it because you're Labour. Oh, fuck off!
Yeah.
For 2 minutes, just don't.
It's the same in America as well.
It's like, don't make it about politics. Look at it from this perspective. Look at the numbers and go, how many people are dead today? Okay, I'm fairly certain they didn't give a shit who was in charge. It was more, why the fuck am I not being helped?
Yeah.
And I think this is the thing that politicians don't get. They're disconnected from reality in that sense, because all they care about is, why is my party doing the thing they don't normally do? And it's like, because it's an exceptional circumstance. There's a pandemic. Lives are being lost every fucking minute because your incompetence of going, but my pudding's squidgy and I'm paying for it. No, you're not. We do with our taxes, you cunt. Just fucking help the country. Fuck your squidgy pudding. Fuck your fucking paycheck. Yeah, that's something. How much did fucking, what's his ugly... Oh, that's it. The cock. I won't say his full name because from now on he is known as Cock. The fake crier. Didn't he have a 40 grand pay rise?
Yeah.
The fuck? For
I
what?
I don't know if that was him or Cummings.
For what? Either way, whether it's him or Cummings, for what? For being a knob?
Yeah.
They didn't
Good job
deserve
today,
that.
pal. Here you go, pay rise.
He was... Cock was actually asked on Good Morning Britain, wasn't he? He was like, if you were offered a pay rise, would you turn it down? Simple yes or no could suffice. He could have said yes, and I'll tell you for why, because no one else could have done the job I'd done in the last few months. Okay, I fucked it up royally, but no one could have not fucked it up. If he had said something like that, fair enough. You're still a knob.
You went all political on it.
But then he went, oh, well, I won't discuss that yet because I haven't been offered it. He fucking took it. And it's like, you realise that money could go towards funding COVID help. Why is it going in your bank?
For pay rises and
yeah,
stuff
exactly. Like, fair enough. After this is all over, whatever. Go back to your bullshit politics of, I want to be paid 40 grand more because I'm Cock.
Especially when they denied nurses being paid extra as well.
Yeah, I'm not being funny. My mum's a cleaner in the NHS and she gets so fucking underpaid, it's unreal. Everyone in that sector does. Nurses, carers, fucking everyone is underpaid. And this slimy little bastard thinks that he can have another 40 grand to his salary because he talks a lot on telly and fake cries like a shit actor.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm very passionate about the fact that I do not like the government.
And I was going to say in America as well, like it
Yeah.
became politics to either wear a mask or not wear a mask. If you were Democrats, then you wore a mask. If you're a Republican, you don't wear a mask.
I just.
Political statement.
How can you make it about politics? That is what
know.
I don't understand. Everything is made about politics now as well. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. These new fucking Twitch rules that came in, which we'll talk about later, but people were making that about politics. It's like, no, it's just a shitty person making a shitty decision. It's got nothing to do with politics, and the same goes for COVID. You know, as Boris kept using against them, oh, use this pandemic as a booster, you know, as an opportunity. No, Keir literally suspended one of the highest ranking people in Labour and got a lot of shit for it. But at least he's doing something to help Boris. You can't even brush your fucking hair. Fucking
He was like, I
orangutan.
do brush it. I have a brush in my office.
Oh yeah, he said that. He got asked that on fucking TV, didn't he? Why don't you brush your hair? Oh, I do brush it. No, you fucking don't.
Why do people need to know this?
Like, this isn't important anyway. Fuck your hair. Like,
Have yourself a merry little Christmas, and I do mean little.
yeah. Is
I
that
was
what
laughing
you?
and cringing.
It's like, oh, is that what you're doing, Boris? No, I guarantee you'll have an entire group of people with you. Oh no, they're all in the same household. Really?
Or if he doesn't, all of the MPs will have the best Christmas that they've ever had. You know, without they'll be laughing at us all, basically.
No, I think politics is such a fucked system now.
And because it's allowed, no one can say anything.
Yeah.
3 households of, you know, oh, there's 50 people in every household, though, so...
Oh, but then if we do that, we get in trouble, you know.
Yeah.
How
Your
dare
house.
you? This is all your fault. This is why COVID's rising. But you did it. That's got nothing to do with it. That's politics.
Yeah. Oh. The numbers have shown that, like, lockdowns basically just delay the inevitable, which,
Yeah.
you know...
Exactly. And that's because they don't have a plan when you come out of the lockdown.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to go, this is now the law, whether you like it or not. They just don't want to do that. Which I understand. But there comes a point. But yeah.
So yeah, obviously they've given us a load of advice of what to do over Christmas when if you do have your family members around. It includes, you know, distancing from them, opening all your windows on the freezing December 25th, wearing masks inside, you know, keeping it very short, don't stay overnight and stuff like that.
Yeah. Which, by the way, makes no fucking sense, because you may as well stay overnight.
You're going to have shared dinner and laughed and joked with Granny. You're not going to make any difference if you...
Don't you fucking dance to come driving home for Christmas. I swear to God. I will slap you with a candy cane. No, you won't, Boris. No, you won't. I don't know. It's such a contentious topic. Yeah. Because we all know what we have to do to keep this virus down and to keep us all safe. But we also know what we want to do.
Yeah.
So it's... I don't know. Do you know what? I wouldn't say someone is a terrible person for not listening to the rules. I wouldn't at this point. The government have proven they don't give a shit. You know, they don't want to enforce the rules by law, so...
And at the end of the day, it is a long time we've been restricted and our lives on pause and stuff like that.
Yeah, do you want to know how long? In 2 months. Well, 2 months? January, February... No, 3. It'll be a year.
Yeah.
Which... people are like, I can't believe it's going to be a year. Woohoo! There's still a few more months to go.
Yeah.
You know,
a year is a long time if you're mentally need that people interaction and missing your family. There are people who like old people who've just been like on their own since March. Like, I guess I have to cancel Christmas again.
Yeah. And I get that, and I think I speak for any rational human being that goes, Christ, I completely empathise with people that want to see their families. Like, it's been fucking too long. But, I mean, you know, if you want to take that risk is on you, you know. And you have to be willing to accept that risk if you want to go and do it. Because that's what the government have done. They've left it up to you. And as annoying as it is, and as fucking scummy as it is that the government have done that, it's the truth. They've just gone, hey, it's up to you, man. We're not going to... We'll advise you, but we can't tell you what to do. So...
yeah.
I would just say, if anyone's watching this, just be sensible. You know, be logical. Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Like, Yeah.
I mean, I'm personally having 2 family members round on Christmas from 2 households.
Yeah.
So that is within the rules for us. So I mean,
Yeah.
am I happy about it? I don't know. It's Christmas. Like,
Yeah.
I can't really imagine a Christmas just sat here on your own. But
yeah. Make the most of it. Just do what you can do.
it's one of those things. Like, I've seen them both before, and it seems to be all right. But whatever.
Yeah.
We're just trying to be safe, and
Yeah. That's all you
also
can do.
being within the rules as well. So
Just be within the rules. Be
so
as
I'm
safe
not
as
sitting here all
possible.
high and mighty like I'm going to be on my own on Christmas. I'm not. I'm not. But
Yeah.
just keeping it small.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know. Well, I think for New Year's I'm going to be on my own completely, and then I think for Christmas it's just me and my mum, because mum's working anyway. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm just one of those people. I'm like, here's what it is.
Yeah.
I'll get on.
I
with
mean,
it.
I'm not one for massive family gatherings anyway, so
Yeah, anxiety.
so I mean, it kind of suits me.
Yeah. I do have a quote from Boris, and it's a quote that he has said multiple times. It was recently said actually when he got asked about his hair, he keeps saying this quote, and you'll recognise it. Quote: "People really got this. I think they really get it this time." End quote. It's like a quote we've heard before. How's that gone? Every time he says it, lockdown.
Like, where's the salad? Where's the salad?
People don't get it, Boris, and you can keep fucking palming it off on the people, but we've literally just spent the last 20,
we don't
25
have
minutes.
sense.
Yeah, we've spent the last 25 minutes talking about it. People are not going to listen to it unless you enforce it by law. They just won't. Doesn't matter how much faith you have. One person in like 100 might listen to the rules. That is it. Not everyone is going to sit down and be like, do you know what? I'm not going to see anyone.
Yeah, there's probably equal amounts of fair, well-moraled humans than there are like absolute dickheads.
I don't even know if I could call it morals at this point. I think people are just fucking bored. They're like, do you know what? They're not forcing us.
Well, as I've said in the past, it's the typical English thing where it's like, oh, everyone stick together for 3 weeks, and then it's like, oh, we get a bit bored now.
Yeah.
We'll just do whatever the hell we like.
Well, not even that. I think it's even more than that. I think it's just, well, they haven't banned us from doing it, so it's not against the law. And that's the thing. There's no repercussion for it, so fuck it.
And if there is fines and stuff, it's like, how are they going to know? How are they going to know that if I'm doing this?
They're not going to be able to fine every single person that does it, and that's the realism of the situation. No matter how Boris, no matter how fucking Mark Drakeford or Jimmy Cranky, whoever the fuck wants to look at it, it's not gonna. It took you a second. It's not gonna. It's not gonna.
I was thinking of the other name we've got for it.
Yeah. It's a good name. But yeah, it's just it's not realistic. So whatever. I don't think there's any more I could say on that subject without repeating myself. So
have a Merry Christmas, a Merry Little Christmas.
have a merry little Christmas and lots of mince pies.
So yeah, have you got any more news things to bring?
I think, to be honest, we covered it all in that big ass fucking section. So,
Okey-dokey.
shall we move on to the gaming?
Yeah.
The gaming.
Something more light about it.
There was a lot to talk about. I mean, the Game Awards happened.
Yeah.
Last of Us 2, of course it fucking was. But there we are. That is what it is.
I feel like did Ghost of Tsushima win much? Because I feel like that should have.
That probably should have. I mean, I haven't played it, but I've seen a lot, and a lot of people
so.
have said that it's like it should have got Game of the Year, but it didn't. Inevitably, it was Neil Druckmann's wet dream of The Last of Us Part 2 that clenched it between its butt cheeks, and
I mean, it probably does deserve it. I mean, it took a lot of work and a lot of years and a lot of staff and a lot of crunch. But
fucking crunch.
I'm getting a bit tired of Neil Druckmann these days.
To be honest, he just pisses me off. Don't get me wrong, The Last of Us 2 was an excellent quality game. The game looks incredible. It's a fantastic game to play.
It
The
wasn't what we
story is
expected, but it was still a great game.
absolutely. The game is a great game. The story is dog shit, but the game itself is very good. I personally fucking hate the story. I'm stuck because there are elements to the story that work. But the structure, it's fact.
It's one of those ones like because you weren't really expecting the whole Abby thing.
Yeah.
Like you just need to play it a few times and watch it a few times, then like just kind of distinguish these two characters as completely separate, and then you might find some better enjoyment. But you can't put all your eggs into Ellie's basket.
Literally.
And then expect to enjoy playing as Abby, the one who wants to kill her all the time.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I liked Abby's arc. I didn't think her arc was terrible, but I just think it was done so forcefully and it was shoved down your fucking throat. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get why they didn't just do day one, you do Ellie, and then day one, Abby, and you'd go along with both. It would have made that structure, you would have felt for both characters, and then I agree they should have killed Joel. That was going to happen. He was a bad guy. People kept calling him a good guy. He's not.
He's not an angel.
He's not a good guy either. He's a bad person. He sacrificed the rest of the world for his selfish desire. The guy deserved to die. He didn't deserve a hero's goodbye. It was, he was going to die. But I just think the way they did it was not very good. It was too quick. The suspense wasn't built up. And you immediately took this character who no one knew, got him killed, and then forced them to play as her for 15 hours. Like, it doesn't work.
And like at the end of Last of Us 1, many people stopped. I didn't realize you had to kill this doctor at the end of it, and the game forced you to do it. Like, so.
Which again,
and then you have to pay for that, even though you didn't want to do that.
I think the story of The Last of Us 1 is perfect. You left it as an unresolved ending, technically, for the audience to make up their mind, but it made it very clear. Ellie was an innocent participant in it, and Joel was the bad guy. He just was. He was a bad guy, no matter how you looked at it. Oh, it's loving and it's caring that he treats her like a daughter now, but he had no right to do what he did, and that is it. But I will not dispute that the game was fantastic. It was a very well-made game. It was absolutely bundles of fun to play and looked incredible, but it did not deserve Game of the Year. And Neil Druckmann has acted like a big fucking baby through it all, constantly having to delete tweets because he's like turning to people and being like, "You're wrong, my game's great." Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
With your little wet dreams. But yeah, that's my opinion on it winning. I don't think it deserved it, but I certainly wouldn't call it a bad game. That's what I would say on the matter.
Yeah, I think they're all getting a bit kind of big-headed, these kind of high-ups in the game industry, like, and the actors as well. There's who played Joel again?
Oh, my favourite. He is my favourite voice actor as well. Troy Baker.
Yeah.
Troy Baker.
Yeah.
Very talented man, very good voice actor, but my God, the arrogance on the man. Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ. How'd you get into the industry? When me and Nolan North quits. Fuck off, you big-headed twat.
I mean, him, Neil Druckmann, some Nolan North to some extent.
I didn't think he had an ego like that until I saw him say that. And then when he came out like defending The Last of Us 2, being like, "Oh, the game was great. How dare you judge it for that?" People aren't saying the game was bad. They're saying the story was crap, which it was.
Yeah.
And that's people's opinions. Get over yourself. You still got paid for the job, so why the fuck do you care? Like, I get you might love the job you've done and the character you've played, and I'm not disputing Joel is an incredible character that you have a connection to, and he acted him very well. There's a reason him and Nolan North are top people in the industry. But my God, don't have such a fucking narcissistic ego.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. Power corrupts, man. It doesn't matter who the fuck you are. If you're not careful, money will make you a fucking arsehole.
When you get into a place where you're almost guaranteed not to have a bad time, basically, you're going to get offered any job going, basically.
Yeah.
That's when you can start to have this ego, and it's just,
yeah.
People need to be put in their place a few times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't wish bad on things on anyone, but people need to be put in their place. Karma needs to get there.
I think a bit of a kick up the arse would do him some good. I think he needs to be brought back down to reality. I think Nolan North, as far as I can tell, he's fine.
Yeah.
I've never seen him be narcissistic about anything. If a game has flopped that he was in, he goes, "Oh, I had fun with it." Yeah. But Troy just has this fucking, I don't know, he has to be right.
Yeah.
Like Neil Druckmann, he has to have the last word. Ironically, Neil always
They're probably great friends.
He probably bums him.
With the man buns.
Yeah, just grabbing onto them, just as he rides him, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna get some shit for that. I can already see it. But I mean, you
I'm having a
know,
hot flush.
it's just fucking ridiculous. Don't have such an ego. Just enjoy what you do. If you're proud of what you created, great. More power to you. But don't be an arsehole about it. People are allowed their opinions.
Holier than thou on everything.
And I think the same goes for, though, with people who watch games and stuff. Don't be such a dickhead to developers, okay? They get underpaid, overworked, and, you know, it's not their fault if the game comes out buggy. It's the higher-ups.
Yeah.
Which leads me on to my next point. Cyberpunk 2077 has made literal history. Sony pulled the game from the marketplace and officially said if you bought the game digitally, you are entitled to a full refund. Something Sony has never done before. And they are notorious for not giving out refunds.
Yeah. Their refund policy is so strict, and the fact that they've done this is like a real... It's because, like, Cyberpunk on Twitter was like, yeah, well, if you don't like it, you can refund it, and they're passing all the blame on to...
CD Projekt Red, man, they had such a good reputation, and they fucked it. It all started off with them not allowing reviewers to, like, release their own footage, and not releasing the console versions of the game.
There's something a bit fishy about that.
I'll tell you what, you've delayed the game twice, just delay it again.
Yeah.
The fuck? Like, and the game came out. Did you see the footage of it?
Well,
What the fuck? Like, I get that the PS4 is not as strong, but that is not acceptable.
yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not being funny. People can go all they want. Oh, well, this console's 7 years old. Red Dead 2, Last of Us 2, God of War. These are games that ran at 4K on PS4 Pro. Come on, the fuck.
They were all exclusives as well. Point out.
Yeah, you can't be like, oh, well, the hardware's 7 years old. Yeah, those games came out and they looked astonishing on PS4, even just the base PS4.
They were making this game before this PS4s came out.
This game has been in work since, I believe, 2013? Maybe it was 2012. 2013. But that's still 7 to 8 years.
To get used to the console and, you know...
Yeah, you've had a long time. And I'm not, by the way, I am not shitting on the developers at all. I do not blame them at all for what has happened. This is clearly the higher-ups. And CD Projekt Red were the one company that people would turn to and be like, hey, you care about consumers. Now they've just manipulated the entire consumer fan base. They lied and admitted it by saying, oh yeah, no, we covered up the console. Sorry about that. We thought we'd have it fixed by then. That's on us. And then threw Sony and Microsoft under the bus and went, get your refunds from them.
Yeah.
How fucking scummy of you. Like, Jesus, that puts you worse. People have compared this game to Fallout 76, and it's worse.
Yeah, not even that got the stick.
Not even Bethesda tried to hide the game was dog shit.
Yeah. That even had a beta and stuff, didn't it?
Yeah, they were like, yeah, the game's buggy. That's Bethesda, though, right? You still love us.
Deal with it.
Yeah, people were like, oh, it's Bethesda. What did you fucking expect? No one expected this from CD Projekt Red. Like, no one. And rightfully so. This company, Witcher 3, came out broken and buggy. People have been going, oh, well, that came out broken and buggy. Yeah, not unplayable. Even on PS5, the game was crashing multiple times in an hour. I'm so glad that I didn't buy this game, because I was tempted to before it came out. I was like, ooh, do I? No, I'll wait for the reviews. I'm so glad I did.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was one of those on the fence people, like, I need to see it before I buy it. And yeah, I'm glad I did watch some footage.
I'm glad, like, I think me and you both were in the same boat. I think we both talked about it, didn't we? We're like, oh, should we? It's like, nope. No. And I'm very glad that I didn't. And this is why, I've said it before in a past thing, when I refunded my Call of Duty Cold War, there is a reason now that I will not pre-order a game. This is why. Even the most trusted company only gives a shit about money. They had already made their money on the pre-orders, by the way, for those of you who didn't know. They had pre-ordered. This game broke so many records before it even came out. And it's also now broken records in way worse ways. CD Projekt Red will never recover from this. Doesn't matter.
I will never financially recover from this.
I will never financially recover from this. They won't. They just won't, though. I mean, think about it. Reputation is everything in this industry. And they were one of the very few companies that had a good... I mean, even Rockstar now are fucked. Like, people do not like Rockstar anymore because they just don't give a shit.
They'll still buy all the games, but they don't.
Oh, yeah. They fucking hate them. But, you know, but CD Projekt Red did something that no other company had ever done, and they purposely embargoed their game so people would still buy it, knowing full well the game was not ready.
Shady, isn't it?
And that's such a fucking disappointment, because this game could have been something incredible. Because from what I've heard, the game is incredible.
Yeah.
But it's
from the story snippets I've seen with... actually no game-breaking bugs are all right.
Yeah, and it looks really good. It's just such a shame. And the fact that, I mean, you know it's fucking serious when Sony pulled it. They've never...
Right, we're not having this.
This is a company that kept Fallout 76 going.
Yeah.
This is a company that has a game that had the Black Lion game. For those of you who don't know, that is a very well-known game that came out on the PlayStation Store. That wasn't even a game. It was a fucking... It wasn't even an alpha. It was garbage. And they still kept it up and refused to give refunds. Yet they've taken Cyberpunk and gone, nah, fuck you, CD.
Yeah, we're not selling this shit in this state.
Yeah, and not just that, but I don't even think CD Projekt Red are funding the refunds, by the way. I think Sony are just doing that out of pocket.
Yeah.
I think there must have been some communication for it, but I cannot see CD doing it. Because why would they agree to have their game pulled just before Christmas?
I know. That is a lot of their sales before Christmas.
And I mean, think about it. Microsoft have got another win now. That's an automatic timed exclusive.
Yeah, I saw someone say that. It's now Microsoft.
It's true, though. They are going to make a fuck ton if people buy that game on there. You know, that's going to encourage
you just
people.
Go out and buy a retail copy, though, but you can't buy it on the store.
I don't know if that's true anymore. I think the PS4 versions are being pulled from stores now as well. I don't know if that's true, but I can't imagine they'd still be selling them, especially if Sony are like, hey, here's a refund. I know they've said that they're not refunding physical copies. They've said that you have to take it back to the store or wherever you've got it from, and unfortunately a lot of stores just won't do it.
Yeah.
Which is fair. You know, I don't think it's on... I don't even think it's on Sony. The fact that Sony have stepped up to do this just shows they do kind of give a shit.
Yeah.
Even though they've proven time and time again, they don't care.
Yeah, it's like CD Projekt Red just put all the thing, or shifted all the work onto Sony, and then they're like, right, you know what, we'll be the better people here, and we'll just offer everyone refunds.
No, I think Sony just made a point. They went, okay, two can play that game. Fuck your game. We don't care. We'll offer the refunds, but if you ever want a game on you again, don't ever do that to us again.
Yeah.
There must have been talks behind the scenes where Sony went, oh, really? Watch this. Hold my beer, you cunt. Fucking.
Yeah, the amount of people that were contacting them for refunds was probably just ridiculous. They can't get through anything else without getting these refund requests.
And they just went, do you know what? Fuck it.
You can't refund a game that they don't buy.
Exactly. But that is incredible. That's never happened, especially to a big company like that. You know, and I think it's sad, man. I think if people cannot see now that big AAA companies clearly don't care about anything other than money, you're fucking blinded. And I think it's a shame that CD Projekt Red have done this. I mean, again, I have not played many of their games, but the games I have played have been fantastic. I have dabbled in The Witcher 3. I've not finished it, but it is incredible. And CD Projekt Red, for the longest time, even though I didn't play their games, I was very aware that they were consumer friendly. They were the consumer company. And I think it's a shame that the only consumer company is now no better than Bethesda, EA. If anything, they're worse. And it's sad, man, because I think a lot of companies just get away with it now because people just go, fuck it, I'm just going to buy the game anyway, you know? And it's like, oh, why?
I'm sure they'll eventually fix it, and then next gen versions.
Let me state this, by the way. I have no doubt that in a couple of months, Cyberpunk 2077 will be the best game ever released. But it will take months. And they'll never have the trust again.
And it's not even, a lot of it's not even about the bugs as well. It's like features they promised and that are not actually in the game. It's like the list is huge.
The game is just broken.
bland.
And I don't. Do you know what? I feel
Empty.
like if they had come out and they'd gone, right, here's the footage for the PS4 and the Xbox One. We're really sorry that it looks like this. We are working our asses off to try and improve it. This is what it looks like. If you want to refund it before the game comes out, feel free to do so. But this is what you're getting. And if they showed it, I think people would have been a lot more receptive and understanding and gone, right, okay, I'm going to refund it, but I will buy it in the future if you fix it. But the fact that they purposely hid it, that's the thing that I just cannot accept. I think anyone can't accept it. You know,
Yeah.
at least with Bethesda, they're open and honest. Like, you know, they're called Bugthesda for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, you've got Buggysoft and whatever. But Ubisoft's games are well known. When they churn them out, they are just fucking carbon copies with slight changes here and there to the system. That is it.
Yeah.
And people are aware of that. And if they're going to put money into it, they will put money into it. But I think for something like CD to do that, it's upsetting.
Yeah, it is the thing these days for these companies to make comebacks and, you know, support the game and have a turnaround, you know, like No Man's Sky and
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
Battlefront 2 and stuff like
ask
that.
anyone about No Man's Sky. Do they remember when the game came back out and was so much better? No, they remember the shitty launch that it had and the lies that CEO told.
Yeah.
That's the thing. People remember the first impression. People say first impressions count, and it's true, man. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing that gets remembered. I mean, for me and you, I know very much so that we do tend to try and focus on more of the positive when the game comes back out.
Yeah,
and
we
it's
give
great.
them second chances.
Yeah, but I understand wholeheartedly why people go, no, because, you know, it's completely fair. People paid for this game. They paid £60 for a game they expected to work and be a certain standard, and what they got was shit.
That's what Rockstar does right, because they do release games, and I mean, fair enough,
Yeah.
they could be predatory as hell, but at least they don't have many bugs in them.
Yeah, at least when the game
And
comes
the
out.
first impressions are good.
But what every game company does that is scummy as fuck is crunch. Now, don't get me wrong. Doesn't matter your job. You are going to have to work hard, work longer hours. That kind of thing happens. You should be compensated for it, though. And you shouldn't be working to the point of where you're back in work 4 hours later. That is not acceptable. But, yeah, you know, that's an inevitable kind of...
That is the creative's way.
Yeah, unfortunately. It shouldn't be the norm, but unfortunately it is. Hopefully one day that will change. But that is not the only problem CD Projekt Red have had. A part company that they had, do you hear of a game called Devotion?
I haven't actually.
Oh, it's a interesting horror game based in like Chinese mythology and lore, I believe.
Sounds all right.
Came out 2 years ago, got banned because the Chinese government didn't like the joke about the Winnie the Pooh, and I can't reference what it's to because seriously, this entire podcast could get taken down for just referencing it.
Message it, me.
Yeah, no, essentially, there was a thing that got into the end game and it got pulled from Steam, it got pulled from everywhere, and Galaxy of Games, or Good Old Games, I believe they're also called, said that they would host the game. And they said, hey, we're going to host the game because, we believe that this game is fine, they've improved on it, they've taken that sort of references and stuff out, we want to host the game. Literally 5 hours later, the game hadn't even been released, and they pulled it. They went back on their word because I quote, I should say I paraphrase, because they had a lot of messages off gamers. I don't believe that for a second.
No.
Hey, China, fuck off. You fucking dictatoring pieces of shit. It's bad enough you banned YouTube. Fucking grow up. It's a
Jesus.
joke. Like, but the Chinese market is so huge that no company wants to piss them off.
Yeah.
So, Devotion is still waiting to be seen on another platform. I highly recommend looking up the news and stuff on it later on when we finish with the podcast and stuff, because, honest to God, it's insanity.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's not the first time controversial things have been in games and then they realise it later and then pull it out, but it just depends who you piss off these days, isn't it?
Oh, you can't piss off China.
Yeah.
Because, unfortunately, that's where a huge market for everything is. Cinema, fucking games, everything. And unfortunately, yes, they held quite a lot of influence. I still don't like them.
Yes.
But, Winnie the Pooh. Watch,
Winnie
I'll
the
upload.
Pooh isn't even
Watch,
Chinese,
I'll
is it?
upload this, and you'll never see this. On there, you'll be like, James, have you uploaded the podcast? No, seriously, I have. I have to take out the Winnie the Pooh thing.
Like, China thing, China.
China. But yes, so. Whew, wow, that was one topic for the gaming. But let's go on to some nicer things, if you don't mind my good social.
Yes.
The Game Awards. Did you watch the trailers and stuff that came out for certain games and things, or?
I did very briefly, but I've probably forgotten all of them.
That's right. I've listed a few down that interested me. These aren't all of them, but we'll quickly go through them. There's one called Back for Dead. Sorry, Back for
Oh,
Blood.
yeah.
Back for Blood. Left 4 Dead 3, let's be honest here.
This
It
is one that
basically...
intrigued me.
I cannot fucking wait for this game. I have waited for a Left 4 Dead game for so many years.
Yeah.
I cried when I saw it because I was like, oh, finally. So, yeah, it looks incredible. I can't wait. I'm going to buy you that game and we're going to play it together. It comes out next year, I believe, on the 6th, the 21st of the 6th. I might have that date wrong, but it comes out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox One S, X, and PC. So it looks incredible.
But it's got like competitive multiplayer and co-op as well, and everyone's going to work together. And
Yeah.
I just had to look at some of the gameplay, 7-minute gameplay thing.
It
It
looks
was good.
nuts. It looks insane. Because the thing is, I still play Left 4 Dead 2. I mostly play it on my PC now because I used to play it on my 360, so I don't play on that anymore. But I play it mostly on PC. I love it so much. I've loved the Left 4 Dead games. And when obviously The Walking Dead, Overkill's The Walking Dead got announced, I was super excited for that. Obviously that flopped. But that was kind of the closest thing we'd ever had to another Left 4 Dead game. So it's really cool to see Back 4 Blood come. And
Left 4 Dead was probably one of the first experiences of zombie games, on the PC I had.
It was definitely one of the games I have fond memories of from playing with friends as a kid as well. Like, yes, as a child I played 18 games. Sue me. The Mass Effect little demo as well,
yeah,
the
the
little
teaser there.
thing that I don't know. Do you reckon that's because they didn't announce what it was? So obviously it's been announced they are remastering the first 3 games.
Yeah.
Do you think it was that, or do you think they're teasing a new game?
I think they're teasing a new game, definitely, because it's very, very early teaser, because it's like coming in many years' time.
Coming in the future.
Coming.
At some point.
It might be cancelled.
Super exciting. I unfortunately have never played through the original trilogy. I did play through a lot of the first game because I did own them on the Xbox 360, but I never finished them. So I'm glad the remasters are happening because I will be hopefully purchasing them and playing through them. That'll be a lot of fun. So I do own Andromeda, but from what I've heard, people just say don't play it. But it definitely exciting news.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a big franchise. We all want more of those.
Oh yes. Now this was an interesting one that came up, was the Callisto protocol. Sorry, very Dead Spacey, like a very Dead Spacey undertone. The health bar on the back of the neck. I don't know if you caught it and stuff like that. It was very. It looked very Dead Spacey, and the monsters in it, and I'm very interested in that because nothing really has replicated Dead Space. I mean, Dead Space 2 and 3 weren't exactly great. The first one absolutely steals the show out of that trilogy, but I enjoyed all of them except the third one was kind of shit. But I definitely enjoyed them, so that's definitely a game that I'm interested in. Kind of, what's your thoughts on that?
On Dead Space, I feel like I've never actually really got to play them because I was a PlayStation man all my life. And they did look good though. I think didn't one of them have co-op? And I was like,
that third one. The third one was microtransaction filled as well. That's one of the first games that did it. It's a shame, really, because it could have been a very good game.
Speaking of co-op, there is one that I did really like to look up. It Takes Two. It Takes Two,
yes.
baby.
I actually did look up after you suggested it. I did look up the trailer and stuff, and it does look very interesting.
Looks like such a fun game. I mean, we both loved A Way Out, didn't we?
Oh, I fucking hated that ending.
Oh,
I was so sad. I was so sad.
I know, we had to battle each other.
I know.
But I mean, the experience and journey as a whole was great.
Oh, incredible! Yeah, very unique.
Like good old days of co-op gaming with a friend, and remind me of like Lord of the Rings days of
I think this is kind of why I'm so excited for Back for Blood as well. It's like the co-op games seem to be having a revival recently, and I'm really, really happy about that because they kind of lost their way for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. And it's couch co-op, well, kind of that couch co-op effect with two screens there. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Make the same developers as A Way Out, and yeah,
it does look very, very interesting. I am looking forward to that. I will want to play through that with you at some point.
Yeah, and I'm probably the only one who will have to buy it. So
yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, obviously Perfect Dark. New one of that got announced. A very classic FPS game. I believe when they remastered it for 360, people hated it. But the original was very, very good. I only played a bit of the remastered one, but it was okay in my opinion. But then I'm not an OG of it, so. But it looks interesting. Looks very, very interesting. Evil Dead. All I can say is yes, yes, yes. Fucking hell, yes. Give me some more.
Yes. Not made by Friday the 13th developers, so we should be good.
But it looks like a co-op one as well. Like looking at like the trailers and stuff, like it looks like it's going to be heavy based co-op. So
multiplayer co-op game.
I'm very, very excited for that.
Definitely. I hope it's good.
The fact that Bruce Campbell is doing the voice.
Yeah.
The moment I heard that voice, I was like, "Sign me up."
Groovy.
I love it so much. And then
Ark 2 as well.
Yeah, Ark 2 with Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
I was like, the fuck is this? But what's kind of your thoughts on that?
I feel like the cinematic trailer is going to be nothing like the actual game. I mean, the first one was... I didn't hear amazing things about it. I heard it was broken on consoles. But...
I heard people were having a lot of fun with it, but no one really took it seriously. It was more a game that you just fuck around on with friends. You wouldn't really try to finish it.
Is that one Microsoft exclusive?
I don't know. I believe it's on... Oh, no, I think it might be. Might be.
So they're trying to cash in on all those ones.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I think it's a bit weird that Vin Diesel has jumped in, though. I think that's literally just for a paycheck. Because, there's not really going to be a story that's going to involve him.
He had one line in that trailer thing, and probably just said, okay, you could use my face.
Actually, this question I've got for you, what's kind of your opinion on this? Because obviously we've had Keanu Reeves in Cyberpunk. Vin Diesel has done multiple games, Wheelman, the shitty fucking Fast and Furious Crossroads game that came out. What's kind of your thoughts on having these actors? And I mean, Elliot Page, he was in multiple games as well. What's kind of your thought process on the actors stepping into these roles in games? Do you like it? Do you think it's an interesting concept, or do you think people are kind of just jumping in there for the paycheck kind of thing?
Yeah, it's okay to some extent. It's mostly for PR to sell the game, basically, I think. And then look how good that did with Cyberpunk. People probably haven't even got to the Keanu Reeves section because it's fucking broken.
A lot of people actually said that he doesn't fit that role as well. Apparently,
and obviously he's in all the trailers as well, like what was crime like in 2077 or something like that.
What's it like to be a criminal in 2077?
Yeah, that's it.
Don't get caught.
But they'll have obviously had to put loads into paying him to do that. Or I imagine he's quite a decent bloke, so maybe they didn't.
Yeah, he probably just went, I'll do it for fun.
Yeah, I like the idea of it. I'll do it for free.
Oh, Keanu.
But they obviously wanted him on there to sell it, to sell more copies, basically, because that's all everyone was talking about as soon as the trailer was announced.
No.
Screaming when he was
No, you're fabulous. Check this out.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I bet the developers and the corporate people behind it were like, oh, Keanu, it's our gold star.
They were wanking off every time they saw him do any PR, because they knew the moment he was in the PR, it was like, that's more money for us.
And now let's just stick Keanu on and not show the console version.
Yeah. Fuck it, it's got Keanu, buy it.
Oh, look, you can see those pre-order numbers going up.
Look, you can barely tell it's Keanu. There's about 3 pixels and a blur that you can't see through. It's like being in Silent Hill. But yes. Yeah, no, I think
But yes, it sometimes work if it's a very like Elliot Page. If it's a very character-driven, story-driven game, and they're the main character, then yes, I mean it's just basically a film for them,
I mean,
isn't it?
like you've had like William Dafoe, he's done multiple roles that have worked very well. But then you've got stuff like Little Hope.
Yeah,
It doesn't work. Man
yeah.
of Median. Nah, it's not as effective. It has to, They're not bad games, but just
With the
not.
bold bloke in COD, that COD.
Oh yeah, Call of Duty. Well, I mean that had the guy who played Jon Snow in it at
Yeah,
one point, didn't it? And not to say they did a bad job in them, but it just didn't work. It was kind of like you knew the reason they put it in there. And now you've got one of the biggest people from Breaking Bad who's going to be in Far Cry 6. So it's just like that
yeah,
thing of, I don't know. Hopefully he does, because we all know he's a fantastic actor. So hopefully he will pull off whatever he does, it will work. The same
yeah.
for like, I think with Keanu, I think he would have played that role very well, but it's just being miscast can kind of leave a tarnished reputation for it. So yeah, only time will
Yeah.
tell, I guess, with that one.
It's kind of good and bad, but like they can't save the game, but they can improve it.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Their presence alone can do wonders.
Yeah, generate hype.
The last game I wrote down from the Game Awards, the trailers at least, was Evil West. Looked very interesting.
Okay. I thought it was Red Dead to start with, as I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and then I don't know. I'm fascinated by it. I'm interested, but I've got a horrible feeling that it's going to be like that kind of real-time strategy, kind of like Desperado 3, I believe it's called. Hopefully, it's not. I would like to see that kind of game be an FPS linear.
Yeah.
I think there's not enough of them anymore, so I think they'd be missing out on a big opportunity if they didn't.
Or it looks a bit like Hunt Showdown, like that kind of style. I think that we've got quite a lot of Western games these days. But we'll see.
Yeah.
And like zombie killing kind of things. Yeah.
Any games that you've been playing, my dude?
I've just been playing Temtem in early access.
Ah, yes.
Pokemon clone.
Uh,
But I like it. I've always
Spoilers
wanted a
and stuff.
Pokemon MMO which can just go around and create my character and raise my little monsters.
Supporting those indie devs.
Yes, and I've must have put about 30 or so hours into it so far, and it's got a lot of content in there for early access. And the game is only like 2 gigabytes.
Jeez.
So
That's
it's a
good.
bit kind of weird that it's PS5 only and not PS4, because that thing it could run on a mobile, this game. But
Yeah.
it's very addictive. It's one of those. I always get into the monster catcher ones.
Yeah.
Uh,
Not fair.
I think I'm on my 5th JoJo, and it's kicking my ass. It's a lot harder than Pokemon.
Yeah,
But-
people have said that. It's more
Yeah,
tricky.
it requires a bit more grinding, but I'm okay with it on some on some grounds, because Pokemon Sword and Shield was such a kind of letdown
Yeah.
for me, because it was so easy and it was only like 7 or 8 hours, well 10 hours about. And it's like when you're done with it, you're done basically.
Yeah.
But this one it's a meaty one.
It's meaty.
Taking my time with it, enjoying my time. And it has some story aspects in there that Pokemon haven't managed to do. There's one section where it kind of takes away all your stuff and then it gives you these Temtems to fight with, and it's like, oh, that's interesting. That hasn't been done before. It's like, some people might get annoyed by this, but it's all right.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not a fan of when games take shit away from you.
Yeah, it just gives you back eventually.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, fair.
Oh, hello, ladies. 2 old ladies.
Oh, hello, ladies.
Hello, ladies.
Ladies.
Oh, is that a perm?
Bloody hell.
I was going to say if we have any like niggles with our PS5s. Niggles.
Oh, I've had some issues with mine. Yeah, I mean, multiple times I've had the
Now that
external
the
hard drive
honeymoon
thing.
period started.
Yeah, I've had the external hard drive problem multiple times where I've had to unplug my external hard drive, turn off my PS5, and then start my PS5 up. It then will repair everything. Then I have to plug the external in separately. Then it has to repair it and do that. Hasn't happened for a while, touch wood, but I've got a funny feeling it might happen again soon. Now I've said it. But yeah, that happened about 3 times. The Wi-Fi card in it is dodgy as fuck. The internet keeps disconnecting on mine constantly, but with everything else stays connected. It's just the PS5. So that's definitely an issue with the console. But that's it. that for issues and stuff, they have been the only two things that I keep having consistent problems with.
Yeah. I haven't had a hard drive problem, but I had a little bit of a, well, I don't know if it's an issue. It's just the way the fan is. It's like slightly a weird noise coming from it. But I like did my research on it. I realized there's 3 different types of fans in these PlayStations. There's the retail unit fan, which can be one of 2, and then there's the one that they sent to all the previews and press ones, the perfectly silent third fan, which is talking about scummy tactics.
Yeah.
They obviously use this really quiet fan in all the teardown videos, and all the streamers who've got them early, they had all this perfect fan. So, oh my god, it's silent.
Oh my god.
But obviously, it's there's like a Nidec and a Delta one. One of them's a bit noisier than the other ones, and it's like, oh, this is a bit annoying. I mean, the issue isn't really there anymore because I've kind of gotten used to the sound, or I just don't hear it anymore. But I mean, it was an issue to start with because I was like, oh, it just sounds like it's different than what I was used to.
Oh, I can't. I mean, even if mine's loud, I can't grumble.
Yeah, you got lucky with your.
After the fucking Pro for 4 years, I can't grumble. Even if it was slightly loud, I can't. Like, live with a Pro for 4 years, anything is quiet.
Yeah.
Like,
probably, admittedly, it is a nitpick, but it's like one of those things that you're paying so much money for it, so you want it to be kind of perfect, but
yeah. No, absolutely. I think with your, like, everyone's situation is going to be different. I don't think yours is, like, you complaining about the fan noise is not an unreasonable thing to complain about. You know, I think that, because you had the base PS4, if I'm correct in saying.
Yeah.
Which was relatively quiet, it would
remarkably, it was quite quiet during the
yeah. But, obviously, when you're going to something like a PS5 and suddenly that fan for some reason is slightly louder, you're like, that's not what you said it was. So
yeah, and there's like an issue of the disc. If you've got a disc in and you're not using it every hour or so, it kind of checks it and whirs up, and you're like, why does it even do that? Surely they can patch it out by now.
So glad that I don't have a lot of discs, but I tend to take the discs after you warned me of that. I tend to take them out if I have a disc in there.
Yeah,
just so I don't.
I need to start doing that, but you shouldn't have to because I have a disc in the PS4.
You shouldn't have to at all. That is definitely something they need to fix. Also, why the fuck is it upside down? When you put the disc in, you have to put it upside down. Technically, it should be the other way, but then that's very, very nitpicky of me. But that just shows it was an
There's like a video of like the CEO of PlayStation like having his PS5 displayed upside down, and everyone's kicking up.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he wanted to put the disc in the right way.
He was like, well, I will put the disc in the right way. Go fuck yourself.
You fucking made this thing and you stored it wrong.
I funded it. Fuck off, scrub.
I could do what I want.
Fuck off, scrub. Make your own.
With my teardown unit, which is
that is basically what Sony are like. No, go fuck yourself. That's they've never been consumer friendly. Hence the Cyberpunk thing being so incredibly over the top. Anyway, off that point because I don't want to beat a dead horse with that. But yeah, so no, I mean PS5 wise though, after a bit of the honeymoon phase, my kind of thoughts on it are I'm so happy with it. Like I love the console. It's incredible. I think the only thing that concerns me is the temperature. It's not that the actual console itself is hot, but after looking up plenty of different like people doing heat tests and stuff, having those memory units be the only thing that's hitting temperatures of 80 degrees or higher, that's concerning, especially for long-term use. For those of you who aren't into that stuff, the memory is very easy to burn out. Those kind of temperatures over years and years, that will definitely happen. So I'm definitely being cautious with it. Probably a bit too cautious, but I think that'll wear off. It should be fine, but
yeah, it's one of those things. Like just try not to worry about it and just enjoy it. Like you bought this console, you might as well play it and not like treat it like
your
little baby.
A set piece, even though it looks like one.
Yeah,
magnificent microwave custom settings.
But I'm enjoying mine as well.
Good.
Definitely. There's only a few niggles, and it's like, especially with some of the upgrades, the Destiny 2 upgrade, like, especially when you've been playing the unupgraded version for so long, you really notice the difference in like the frame rates and stuff like that. So, like, this is so good.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm getting such a better experience.
Onto games that we've been playing and stuff. I did try out Vigor. I believe it's called Vigor. It might be Valor. I'm not too sure. It's a free game that came out. I know we talked about it a little bit in private. I like it. I do think it's a bit kind of. I mean, it's unique. I'll say this, but it's unique, but it needs a lot of work. It's unique in the sense, so for those who don't know what it is, essentially it's a battle royale base builder kind of game. So you have like a little home base, you go into these maps, into these games, and you collect like resources, bring them back to your base, and you can upgrade your base and things. It's quite unique, and it's very, very cool concept. But the actual gameplay is a bit poo. So they kind of need to enhance that a little bit, I think, over time and make it a bit more fair as well. I mean, I never died from being killed from someone. Not that it's not a hard game, you know, it's quite easy to kind of fuck people over.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's okay, but it seems like it's got a lot of balancing issues, definitely. And also at the end of each map, if you don't get out of the map, you lose everything. That's kind of shit. But I mean, maybe that's part of it, part of the course.
I did have one go on it. I had like one match. I didn't realize. I don't know if I was just blind or I didn't realize what kind of type of game it was. I thought it was just like missions with co-op mission style things. So I loaded into the map, you know, very innocently minded. Managed to get to a house, saw someone there, like, oh, hello there. Started shooting me, so I start whacking him over the head with my gun. But sadly, I died because, you know, bullets are more impactful than, you know, the butt of a gun. So I was like one of the first to die, and it's like, oh no.
It is the battle royale genre. The battle royale genre has been done to death. I mean, yes, okay, it's unique, but fuck me, come up with something, you know, different. I know it's a unique version of a battle royale, but battle royale is so fucking boring now. Like, it's been done to death. Call of Duty is still doing it. Like, find something new. Jesus.
Unless we're playing it together, I'm not interested.
Yeah, it's what again. I think it's one of those games you are going to benefit from playing with a friend. Doing it on your own is not fun.
Yeah, it's so lonely. You're against everyone else.
I do highly recommend we do try out Valor together at some point, though. I will say.
Yeah,
but maybe at some point, whatever. Other than that, I played a little bit of Metal Gear Solid. It's shit, so I uninstalled it very quickly. And and the other game is Satisfactory. I kind of have an addiction to that game. I haven't played it for a bit. Fucking no! It's a PC game, you scrub. Yeah, sorry. I played a lot of it. I haven't played it for a while though, mainly because I think I did burn myself out on it. But yeah, fun, enjoyable, very good early access game.
Working out to Satisfactory.
It is a good game, but yeah, it's definitely a game you will sink thousands of hours into without trying.
Yeah. I don't have anything else on games.
Oh wait, Div 2. We did start the new Manhunt.
Yay!
Whoa. There we go. That's it.
I don't really have anything to say on that, to be honest.
Yeah, that game is... I think we'll wait until we finish this Manhunt, which will be in about February. And we'll probably talk about it again.
And then when they bring out the inevitable next big blog post or something, where they'll be like, oh yeah, that was actually the last update we're going to do on it. So...
Yeah, Div 3. Yeah. I think, is that it?
Yes, I think, okay.
We are now on to the movies.
The
movies. Now, I have quite a lot to talk about. But please, sir, you start us off.
This isn't particularly one I've watched. I just... there was like a Disney corporate...
If you haven't watched it, then what the fuck are we doing, Sean?
This is some TV news.
Oh, okay, cool.
So they've announced like a dozen or so Star Wars series and Marvel series, like all on Disney Plus, which is kind of good. It's kind of getting its footing now. It's like figured out what it wants to do, and making series exclusive to them. Like, you know, they want to be the new Netflix, but with the cash cow that is Disney behind them. So there's going to be like Star Wars ones for Obi-Wan and Ahsoka and Lando and Andor and Rogue Fighters and so many different ones.
I am very excited.
Bad Batch. I and then there's Marvel ones with like Loki and all different kinds of ones, which I can't even keep up with the amount of things they've announced. I mean, they're all not going to be coming out for like years yet.
Yeah.
But it's a very exciting time to be a Disney Plus member.
It is a very exciting time to be a Disney fan.
A Disney Plus scrub.
A Disney subscriber.
Yeah, a Disney Plus leecher.
What's the one you're looking forward to most? If you had to try and pick a couple.
Probably the Obi-Wan series, because it's going to be a 6-part standalone thing. So you're going to see.
Isn't McGregor coming back for that as well?
Yeah, McGregor and Petit, whatever he's called, the Vader.
Yes. The guy who's only known for playing Anakin.
Yeah.
Even though he's been in loads of.
So they're both going to be in it.
Oh, that's cool. That'll be exciting.
So it's going to be apparently going to duel again as well. So.
Ooh. Actually, that is one that does interest me a lot because I think the third film is my favorite.
Aiden Christian or something.
Oh, Aiden, yeah, he's a shit actor, but yeah, fair enough. I think the third Star Wars film is probably my favorite out of them all. I don't know why. I really, really enjoyed the third film because I think I played the game of it as well on PS2, and that game was actually a lot of fun and was a very enjoyable experience. So I just really like the third film.
Yeah, that's one a lot of people remember as Star Wars because of our generation, anyway.
Yes, millennials.
But yeah, that's what I had on Disney. I tried to watch Mulan, I fell asleep.
Oh, it was that boring. Ah, great.
It was boring to a hardcore fan of Disney, but it had lovely music, and I was just like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah, that tends to have when you watch like a film that has really nice soundtrack. You're like, oh, this is very like,
very serene.
Oh fuck, I missed it.
Yeah.
Oh, fair. Well,
please get started on your list if you've got plenty.
Well, I watched a film called The Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson and William Dafoe. Definitely unique. It's a film that I genuinely didn't think I was going to like because I'll be honest, I'm not normally a fan of that kind of thing. It's completely in black and white, but honestly, the most disturbing film I have ever watched. Genuinely. And I've watched all the Human Centipedes, so it's but impressive, very, very, very good film, very interesting filmography and cinematography that is used in it is definitely unique. Like everything about it is just a one of a kind film. I highly recommend people go and watch it. Daniel Sloss, I watched his most recent show X. I watched it completely legally because it's on HBO Max. That's only available in America, and I live in the UK. I watched it legally.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Of course. No, very, 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 very good show. Highly recommend that other people watch it. He touches on an extremely sensitive topic, but shows it the utmost respect and courtesy. And I actually think people should watch it because, not just because it's a very good show and it does have a lot of comedy, but he speaks a lot of truth. His comedy is very much about making you think. And fuck me, that show definitely did it. So I highly recommend that people seriously go and watch it because it made me question a lot of people in my life from the past who I'm thankfully not talking to anymore. Jesus Christ. So it's a very deep show that again, I'll mention it. He talks about rape and he talks about sexual assault and things and the signs of it and kind of what people are capable of and things to look out for. And it's incredibly down to earth, and he does it. He just shows it with such respect.
Yeah,
I can't say any more than that. Just watch it. Just watch it.
Yeah.
I watched a film called Joey, like a really old kids film. Joey about a kangaroo. It's so cute. What else? Big Mouth season 4. That came out. Watched that. Okay. Lots of fun. Very enjoyable. Highly recommend. Good series.
Highly
raunchy as fuck. So go for it.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in. The final Tremors film. Watched that. The last one, Seeker Island. Again, it's a Tremors film. It's shit, but it's if you watch the rest of them, enjoyed them, you'll enjoy that. And the most recent film, which I actually watched this morning, is The Commuter with Liam Neeson. surprisingly good film. Suspenseful, filled with action, very, very clever plot. So,
Is it just a rip off Taken, or is it?
oh no, 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 no. I guess you could call it. It's kind of that sort of take on something. But to give you sort of a plot summary, essentially, this guy is commuting to work. And essentially, what happens is he gets put in a position by another woman. He was an ex-cop, and he has to find a person on a train. He's just been fired, so he needs the money. So they offer him money and things like that. He kind of has an incentive, and he has to find this particular person because that's what they want him to do.
Yeah, I feel like it may be based on a Eastern film by the same name.
Maybe, yeah. But yeah, definitely very good plot twist. Lots of good actors in it. The guy from the original Jurassic Park is in it. I can't remember his name. Sam, I think.
Yeah.
Might be. I'm not too sure. But it's also got the two adults from The Conjuring
Oh,
who play the main casts. They do fantastic jobs. Very different roles that they take on, but very good roles. So yeah, it's a surprisingly good cast. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely one to go off and watch.
yeah. I know you were talking about William Dafoe in weird films, and I was thinking, it made me think of another one. There's one called Antichrist,
Ooh, yes.
which is a very strange film, disturbing as well. Like, I know it's not all in black and white, but the very first scene is, and like, okay. So it made me think of that for some reason. Yeah, I'll send you the opening scene because it's wow.
Oh, please do. I've never seen it, so that I've heard of it multiple
It's one
times.
we actually did in like film studies in college. Like we just like looked at this opening scene, and was like, oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah,
But
yeah. No, I've heard him speak about it in interviews, but I've never actually watched the film. So, well, maybe one for me to
indulging in intercourse in very slow motion in black and white.
You got me at intercourse.
Whilst there's bad things happening as well. Antichrist, yes. Good film.
I will have to look into it.
Well, I mean, it's good in a sense of it not being traditional. I think I'm going through a phase of these non-traditional films.
Yeah, that's
But,
fair.
yeah.
Nice.
Last night I watched a documentary. I binge watched a documentary, The Ripper, about the Yorkshire Ripper.
Oh, right, okay.
I was just I had a very strange dream last night. That's for sure. I shouldn't have watched it. One go.
I was the Ripper.
Yeah, I know. I was a prostitute. Not far from real life. Actually,
Oh,
no.
you poor thing. Oh God.
No.
That's clearly not what I hire him for.
But yeah, it's just amazing how he kind of managed to pass it off as it was a mission from God and all this.
I know of him and what the atrocious acts that he did, but that I've never actually like looked into or anything. So I might. That's one for me to watch then.
I think he had quite a high kill count, about 13, 14.
Fucking kill count like he played COD.
Yeah. Well, got serial killers. That's what they get off on, isn't it?
All right, I'm gonna write that down because that. I'm gonna class that as a recommendation.
It's like number 1 on Netflix, so you won't have to travel.
You won't have to travel far. No, I'll just be sitting on my bed.
with your fingers, okay? You don't have to scroll down too far.
Good.
But yeah, it's about 4 or 5 episodes. I binge watched a whole lot last night, and like,
Ooh.
it's that thing where it's like leading up to the crimes, and then all the crimes, and then him being caught, and then the inquiry afterwards. It's like that traditional story that they do in lots of documentaries that they like to watch.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a good one.
Fair dues. Fair dues. One that I've just thought of as well, a documentary that I watched, was The Social Dilemma.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this. I haven't watched it though.
Now, it's very... I think everyone's pretty aware that I do not like social media. I think it is cancer on this earth. I think there are good points to it, don't get me wrong. But I think it has become such an integral part of everyone's life that they've forgotten the human in them. That's why I don't use any social medias anymore. Except this. So, I'm very much an advocate for it. It's definitely something I highly recommend people, especially if you use social media a lot. Watch this documentary because it will make you look at it in a different way.
Yeah. I
It's
think
definitely
people who are
worth a thought.
obsessed with social media probably won't want to watch it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Ironically, do you know
Or
what?
they'll just ignore it,
I think that's very, very true to life, though. I think people ignore it because they know it's not a good thing. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all social media is bad. Christ, I still use Messenger from Facebook because I can still talk to friends and family. That is fine. I
Sharing
have no
secrets.
issue with that. But what I have an issue with is people who post to Facebook every 5 minutes looking for validation in their life.
Yeah.
The only time I started being myself was when I left social media because I wasn't trying to put a false image of myself to the world to be like, I'm a product, worship me,
Yeah.
which sounds ridiculous, but think about it. People post things for likes. Oh,
Yeah,
I
they
only
don't
got
post
2
it.
likes. It's so sad. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you need validation to be happy? Like,
2 likes is good for me.
I just don't give
I
a
don't
shit
care.
anymore. I
I don't
remember
post.
fucking back in like 2015 when I used to go out drinking and stuff. Christ, if my post didn't get 10 likes, I was sad.
Yeah. Consider taking it down.
The fuck? Like, that is not a healthy way to live. But yeah, Social Dilemma, highly recommend that people go and watch it. If anything, if I was to recommend anything to you, that would be it.
Okay.
But yes.
Right then.
Anything else in the film kind of department?
No.
Well then, we shall
I was
move on.
enjoying that social media conversation.
Yes, we'll move on to our random things and talk about a bit of social media then, shall we?
Yeah.
I know we've talked about and touched on this subject multiple times in the past, but I feel as time has gone on, we could probably add a little bit more to it, especially in the times that we're in.
Because I think there's more of a reliance on it than ever from a lot of people.
Definitely.
Especially in the time where you're not seeing as many people. So it's not kind of unfortunate that it rears its head in such a dominant way right now.
Yeah. I want to make this perfectly clear, by the way. If you use social media, like I said, I use Messenger to talk to family and friends.
Yeah.
No problem with that. That's fine. That's okay. That makes sense. Even trying to look for like a job or something, that can be beneficial at times. That's okay. It's when it becomes every
Talking about that kind of almost addiction levels of it.
Yeah, when you're you look on Facebook, come off your phone, and then 2 seconds later you're looking back through it because you think something's changed.
Yeah.
And it's so like
Something
I
we're
used to
all
do it.
guilty of.
Yeah, I've fucking done it for years. It's only after I watched that documentary that it truly hit me in the face. I was like, Christ or fucking micey. Like how addicted people are to social media and things like that. Christ, I mean, if you need an example, look at TikTok.
Yeah.
It's shit. The website is god awful, and it's crap. I don't care what people say. It's fucking garbage, and yet people on there are getting millions of likes every day. There's kids who earn money, huge amounts of it, by doing it. Like, it's not healthy.
And it's all just a waste.
It's fake. And I think I could argue I will happily fucking debate anyone that tells me that anyone that is on social media is real. Fuck off. Everything on social media
What are you
is
talking
fake.
about? It's social influence.
It's complete bullshit. Like, fucking... Look, Cindy posted a photo with her partner. Cindy hates her partner. She thinks he's a prick. But look, in that moment, they're so happy. This is the issue that I have with social media. It is all fake. No one posts the real stuff online because otherwise you get called out for being a sad, depressing arsehole that shouldn't be posting it.
Yeah.
So you can't be real online. And that's one thing that is just so unhealthy in my opinion.
And it's always just like, it's always the higher class kids who are doing this kind of thing.
Mother and daddy pay for my tuition.
Yeah. Oh my god, look, I'm playing a prank on my sister on a
Look,
private pool.
I'm so rich I can flick money. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know what it's teaching kids who are obsessed with it. Like, it's like life can be condensed into 10 seconds of a video.
This is what is so bad about it. I just think it should be restricted. Don't get me wrong. I am fully aware that even if they have age limits, which some sites do, kids will get around it. They will find a way. Kids are not stupid. They are very intelligent. They will find a way. But make it harder. Because kids on these... Right. you cannot tell me that in the last few years where social media like Facebook, like Instagram, like Snapchat, where it's all rose, you cannot tell me that has not added to the depression, the anxiety, the suicidal tendencies. Kids in mental health has shot up in the last few years, and it's all, well, I wouldn't say it's all down to social media, but I would fucking certainly say it's a big player in it.
Yeah, I mean, so we're so lucky when we went to school. Me, a little bit before you. Like, it was literally just Facebook and Twitter back then.
Do you know what the sad thing is? I remember being in school and everything was social media. Everything. Yeah. Like, I was on it 24/7 in school.
That was just like 2 or 3 years after I went, and it was kind of predominant then towards the later years, but not as much as now.
And you've got to think, kids missed out on so much. I was quite lucky that in the time that when it was being implemented, I was still going outside and playing with friends and things like that. Kids just sit inside all day fucking scrolling.
Yeah.
Like, and I know it's that thing that people go, oh, you're such a boomer. Oh, you're such a boomer. You're saying the kids don't do anything except stare at their phone. Yeah, exactly. No, do you know what it is? It's this fucking action. Down, it loads. Down, it loads. Down. Like, over and over. And that fucking little loading circle is the most addicting symbol you will ever see. Every social media has it. Because every time you scroll it down, you're not wasting your time. You're trying to get something new to appear. So you're not wasting your time. You're not addicted. You're just trying to see new things. It is a cancer on this planet, and it needs to be eradicated. I'm sorry if people don't like that, but you cannot deny the truth. Yeah. Either that, or it needs to be severely restricted for kids. And I do think that part of it does fall on the parents. I think part of it does fall on parents in the sense that they need to be stricter on their kids and be like, hey, get off your fucking phone.
Because, you know, the kids aren't happy unless they've got the iPad in front of them. So they just give the kid the iPad, then they're quiet.
It's like, oh, technology's not that bad. Really? Then why did Bill Gates and Steve Jobs raise their kids tech-free? Two of the biggest... No, seriously, why? Their kids didn't have any technology. I wonder why. It's like they knew the damage it can cause. Like, I get it. Technology is an integral part of our life now. That's fine. Social media even can be an integral part of our life. I mean, Christ, there's social media influencers. It's a new way of living. But that has become such a goal for so many kids now that they will waste their time doing it thinking they're going to become something. And yes, it's true. You put enough time and effort into something, you can make something of it. Absolutely. I'm not saying that kids can't be creative on social media. That's fine. But some of the stuff on TikTok, for instance, there was a challenge that went round called the Holocaust Challenge, where you had to make yourself dressed up as a Holocaust victim and act out what happened. The fuck? 13 to 15-year-olds doing this, mind.
Yes.
They don't understand why that's wrong, why that's so fucked up.
Yeah, they just see, oh, my friend's doing it, and it's going to get me more likes in school.
It's trending. Oh, I could become famous off this trend. Wait, let me dress myself up like I'm a dying Jew. Yeah, because that's healthy. That's a healthy attitude to have. And there's worse than that. Honestly, I could talk about some of the fucking shit that TikTok has spread, and that is just TikTok. And don't get me wrong, YouTube and Twitch are still social media. There is a reason that I am no longer doing Twitch, and this is the only thing I'm doing on YouTube now, because it's just torture. Like, it's never looked at as fun or anything like that anymore. It's job. This is the only thing that I do on YouTube that I consider genuinely a hobby and fun. And that's because I do it with a friend. You know, it's such a dangerous environment to be in now. And I genuinely feel for kids that grow up in this age of that, you know, you have to have a brand. You have to post a new picture every day. You have to change your profile picture every 5 seconds because otherwise you're outdated. Like, it's such a dangerous mindset for any child to be in.
Oh, yeah, and it's not just kids as well. It's people my age.
Absolutely.
Half the people on my friends list is like new selfies every day, fake lighting, boobs out.
This is another thing as well. Like, people are like, oh, I wish I was as pretty as that person. Yeah, when they're not taking the photo, they've got a gut.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many...
About 3 inches of makeup on.
Oh, yeah.
It's all fake.
And like I used to work out and stuff like that, and I'd take photos because I wanted to see progress, and I would always be like, I still don't, like, I've not made any progress. This is awful, and it'd be so depressing. And I came to this realization that, oh, I don't have Batman lighting. I'm not arching my back to push my ribs out more. You know, I'm not in a certain pose so that my abs look like they're sticking out more. Not that I have any, but it's so depressing, especially when I look back on it as well, and I'm like, Christ, most of my fucking mental health issue came from that shit.
Yeah.
And it's scary, you know, like how much power that has. I mean, Christ, look how much Facebook, look how much trouble they're getting into now.
Yeah,
you know?
It's just ridiculous. Like, the only reason I probably use Facebook is just for people's birthdays, for like wholesome moments, if they're losing weight or if they're, graduation or something. And the rest is just fluff, basically.
I can't even do that. I've wrote all my mates' birthdays that I care about down now.
Yeah.
And that's it.
There's only a handful.
I really want to delete my Facebook, but the only reason I haven't is because I'm concerned that it might fuck my Messenger up. Although I've heard that it doesn't do that because Messenger's a separate app now. But I'm just still not wanting to risk
deactivate or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I've deactivated my Twitters. Well, the ones I could log into. My Instagram is gone. My Snapchat is gone. All my Reddit accounts gone. Like, I've got rid of as much as I can, just because it's so much nicer to not be connected to that world.
Yeah.
And having photos as well that are just personal to you, like photos I've taken with family, friends, partner, whatever. Like, they're personal to you, and they have much more meaning and care when they haven't been fucking plastered online. And I think do you know what? One of the fucking most upsetting things, I don't know if I've talked about this on here, I probably have at some point. One of the most upsetting things that I've ever heard is people, like, when they see relationships and stuff like that, it's like, oh, you haven't argued. Shut up! Like, people are like, that's a bad thing. Oh, get fucked. That's society for you. Oh, I could bitch about society for hours. I won't.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there'll always be judgy judgers.
So no. I'm very aware that social media will always be a thing now, no matter what. But just to anyone out there, just be careful. Be careful. That's it. I know we have a social media page for like this podcast. The only thing I ever do is post these. That's it. I don't do anything else.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Like, as much as we hate it, you do also need it to spread awareness and spread the message around for people to watch things.
I mean, to be fair, I've just considered just sending it to our friends. Fucking the page off. I every time I go onto Facebook, I get this anxiety in my stomach, and just it's not a nice feeling anymore. I don't go on it to have fun or to enjoy it. Every time I see it, I'm like, Christ, that's my childhood depression.
It's a lot of people, I'm sure, would love the luxury of deleting all that, but some of them need to have it to connect and network. And that's the way it has to be.
I don't think people. Do you know what? Try and challenge someone to not go on their phone for a week, or at least social media for a week. It wouldn't happen. No one could do it anymore.
It's muscle memory now, isn't it?
Yeah. That's why anytime I'm talking to someone, they're always on their fucking phone. And it's so upsetting because, like, I've met up with people this year, obviously, with the pandemic and everything going on, and I haven't seen them in months. I meet up with them, and all they're doing is this. I'm like, oh, I'm sitting on the other fucking chair. Like, seriously? You can't even not look at your phone to have a conversation with me.
We feel like how our grandparents felt whenever they saw us, and we were on the phones like that.
I guarantee I'll be called a boomer. I don't give a fuck. I'd rather have a conversation with someone face to face without them going on their fucking phone for 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like that.
It's upsetting, man. But it is what it is. Facebook ain't going anywhere. Twitch ain't going anywhere. Twitter is cancer. I just don't even go on that.
And it annoys me when you're like, you're all trying to talk in conversation, and all you're talking about is stuff you've seen on Facebook or Twitter or videos that you've seen.
Did you see Cindy's post? No, I didn't, because I don't give a shit about her life.
And the only way you can have a laugh together is if you've seen this funny video on this channel and you've seen that funny video, and you keep on quoting them all the time.
Yeah, it's.
Why don't we just have some creativity and make our own jokes? That's what the best moments of when we're talking are. And I feel like the best moments of anyone is when you're creative and spontaneous. You're not ripping someone off.
Yeah.
You think about your own things and you make your own natural comedy.
Yeah.
And have a laugh with
I've
them.
always said the best conversations I've ever had with people are when it's just me and that person talking, no influence from outside. Like even when we do this podcast, like I know it's going to be edited and uploaded to the channel and whatever. But like when we're doing it, I don't feel like it's a podcast. I feel like I'm just talking to a friend.
Yeah,
Like
that's how I view it as well.
yeah, we
I don't
talk.
really talk as if people are watching, but
Yeah.
that's probably the best way to do
We
it.
talk like it's just friends having a conversation, just like we would do if we were playing a console, just with a lot less edgy humor. Because I actually think the police would knock on my door with my humor.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, it's fun. It's nice.
Ka-ding!
And children running around outside.
And I'm sat like right next to my window, and I can see anyone walking past, and they're all like looking at me like, "Hello."
Hello.
Um,
But yeah, if you got any random thing you would like?
I mean, we were going to talk about the death penalty, and I believe we have covered that as one of our first
That was one of
podcast
the
things.
first
But
ones
I don't know.
back in the
Has,
day.
has our opinions changed on anything to do with that?
No, they should bring it back.
Yeah, I think I was on the
You were kind of like in the
opinion
middle.
that they shouldn't really, unless it's super,
then-
super like
and then
extraordinary
I
circumstances.
was just like, nah, fuck them.
Yeah.
If you're going to break the law, you don't deserve it. And again, let me clarify my point. The same thing that I did before. If you are a murderer, you don't deserve to be part of the society and should be hung. If you have sexually assaulted or hurt a child, you are scum and should be hung. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
My opinion.
and
It's not a popular one, but I don't give a shit. Actually,
It's
that's
just
something
like-
I will ask.
go on.
Since we're on that topic, I don't know if we've actually covered this extensively in the past, but with police and stuff, do you think they should be allowed to use more force than they actually do? I think we have covered this slightly in the past.
Yeah, I believe they should definitely be able to use more force than they do now because it's ridiculous the things they can get away, like criminals can get away with these days without. It's like goes back to that thing of the punishment needs to fit the crime and be adequate enough so that it prevents the crime.
Yeah. I don't forget this.
So if you realise you're going to get shot with a rubber bullet, you may not pick up that extra bag of sweets and run out shot.
Yeah.
Actually, I suppose not really a good example with that, but
I mean,
um,
fair point.
yeah. So there should be more force. Maybe not like lethal force, but more force.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I don't think they should be able to kill someone in the street.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable. But if, people are committing a crime and they're running away, there's no harm in
The
shooting
thing
a rubber bullet in their
that
ass.
stops all of that is basically there's a lot of pressure from the racial aspect of that. Oh, you beat up. All the police just beat up the black people all the time, and
Yeah.
they can't be seen to be doing that. Basically,
That I don't agree with. The fact that there is so much racial tension in America. It's not just America, the UK as well.
Yeah.
There's so much racial tension in the police force and stuff like that with the civilians. That needs to be addressed as soon as. But I think we've touched on that before, so I won't beat a
Yeah.
dead horse. But that definitely needs to be addressed. But I absolutely think that police in the UK should be allowed to walk around with rubber bullets and a gun and shoot you in the ass if you act like a dick. I think it's
Yeah.
as simple as that.
then because at the moment, well, people used to respect the police first of all, and they used to not be afraid, but know that they're in a position of authority, and like you would be in school around a teacher, like in the olden days anyway. Nowadays, I'm sure it's like, oh yeah, fuck off.
I fucked your mum. Did you? Well,
Yeah.
that's nice.
You can't touch me, I will sue.
She never mentioned you, so you must have been shit.
But yeah, nowadays they're just like, oh, what can they do? How can they get around this?
There are a lot of hoops they would have to jump through if they wanted to do that. Especially with, obviously, the talk of dictatorship and stuff, so
Yeah.
makes it very difficult to enforce
I
laws.
think we covered a lot of this while we've just been talking about random things
know.
throughout the thing.
The thing is, what I found with our conversations and stuff is that
tangents.
Like, yeah, we go off on a lot of tangents now. Whereas before, I found now, I don't know if you would agree, I found now, like, as we've been doing this for longer and longer, I think, we're on episode 24 now? Like, podcast 24. Like, I found that we've become so comfortable with it now that it just kind of, we will just go off and talk about random stuff and elaborate on things as well. I don't feel like, when we first started, it was like, okay, we'll talk about this, then this, then this, then this. And now we're just like, whatever the fuck.
When I first started, I used to have pages of notes. Now it's like barely covering a page. Because I know I can just like ad lib some of it. And I think better that way.
I literally, with films and stuff, I just write the titles. Same with the game stuff. And
I used to write exactly what I was going to say, but now I'm writing.
Oh, I think if I did that keywords. Now, I find if I put keywords, I talk more.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel restricted.
Yeah, and it sounds so natural when it's reading off a piece of paper as well.
Oh yeah.
It's just keywords, and then we can I know we're at the level where we can just talk about it, and then you'll bring something up, and then I'll bring something else up, then. Yeah.
Because I know because we used to do conspiracy theories at this part, which were fun, don't get me wrong. They were fun, they were interesting, they were an interesting thing to throw in, but it never felt genuine or normal.
I think personally, I probably wasn't a massive fan of that section because it wasn't really something I was massively interested in.
Yeah, you were like, I don't believe any of this, James. You're full of shit.
You can say things. Oh, yeah, I don't really believe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, funny. I mean, we're still finding our feedback.
and then we went into what was it? After that, it was we'd have to ask like random questions or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And now it's just whatever the fuck. whatever.
Who cares if we talked about it all before? We'll just talk about it again.
Yeah, fuck it. But I think that's okay, because I think if we even do talk about stuff from the past, I feel like now we talk about more of it.
Yeah, and there are different things that you can't put everything out there on one topic on one day. You think of different things all the time.
There's new things that come up, new reasonings for whatever, you know.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, is that it?
That's it.
I don't think there's anything else. I think that's it. I think that's all it. That's it. I think we've cooked it in a microwave. It's done well. Well, okay then. Well, I hope people enjoyed this podcast. Thank you very much if you did enjoy it. If you were listening, watching, or any of other ways of participating, thank you very much. The podcast in its official form will not be now continuing until next year. So at this point, we'll see you in the new year. But there will be a Christmas special, and that will be coming out on Christmas Day. So if you are interested in that, you may feel free to join us in the evening when that happens and when that comes out. It will be a very different episode. It won't be kind of news, gaming, stuff like that. We're just going to go on some random tangents, talk about some random Christmas topics. Yeah, it'll probably be maybe an hour, if that, you know. Yeah. So, but... yeah, maybe shorter is better on Christmas Day, I think, especially when you want to spend time with your family over Skype. So, thank you very much to Sean, as always, for joining me for this podcast. It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Yeah, and, thank you. Always fun time.
Yeah, and to anyone that did listen, thank you very much for taking the time to do so. It's always appreciated. We'll catch you in the new year, in 2021, where the virus will still be a thing. Yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Have a
great Christmas.
Have a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And try not to get too drunk.
A Merry Little Christmas.
Yes, a Merry Little Christmas. Follow Boris's advice. But yeah, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. And we will talk to you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.